Hi everyone, in this video we are going to continue the discussion on inspection. In the previous videos we have talked about different conditions of the spirit, abundance of spirit, lack of spirit, loss of spirit, false spirit, disordered spirit. How do you know, or what's in the other easier way to see the spirit? That's from the appetite. Why from the appetite you can see the spirit? Because appetite is the acquired qi. Where the acquired qi come from? In February when we start the diagnosis, when we start the basic theories, I told you that's one story of the Chinese culture. The Chinese culture always asks you, do you eat well? As greeting, so we don't use how are you. We always ask about do you eat well? Do you eat well? Have you had your breakfast? Have you had your lunch? Do you enjoy your dinner? We always ask about your meals. The reason is from the appetite. We want to ask about your appetite, and then from the appetite you can reflect in the spirit. That's the abundance of spirit, very good appetite. Lack of spirit, if you eat less, you still remember the image that's in the previous video we have shown you, or you can use your notes. If you find the PDF notes, you can see the gram marks I put as the on the right side as the picture of the lack of spirit. She didn't eat that much. She will eat less as a lack of spirit. The loss of spirit. That's from the patients, the two patients from the image. They don't eat. They can't eat. How do they eat? They need to use drips, or they use the tube to the stomach directly. So from the appetites become worse and worse. Also, this can help you to identify the prognosis or to identify your treatments. If a patient come to see you with abundance spirit, with abundance of qi, after your treatments become less of spirit, after certain section of the treatments, the patient says that the patient says that the appetites become worse, so they don't have appetite. Though you need to think about your treatments, or if there's anything wrong with this process, this whole process, because if in a proper treatment, the patient should not develop from abundance spirit to lack of spirit. This is unfavorable direction. What's the favorable direction? After the treatment, the patient's appetite recovered. They want to eat. So from these different levels of spirit, you also can see the prognosis. And also from the lack of spirit to loss of spirit, the disorder of spirit, and the force of spirit. We always skip about the false spirit. The false spirit is developed from the loss of spirit. So the patient will lose spirit or be extremely lack of spirit. And then it can all of a sudden the patient recovered. But this recovered is considered as low false spirit, because after false spirit they going to consume the yin and yang directly, will cause collapse of yin and yang. So from the diagnostics, it is important to identify these different levels of spirit. Also, what's more important is after the identification, you need to understand what's the clinical indications and what's the solution towards these indications. Because in the clinics, when you see a patient, you can't say that, oh, this patient is considered as loss of spirit, and then what can we do? No, I don't know. I don't know what we can do. Just wait, because I don't know the cause of this. So that's not the plan, not the treatment plans for the patient. When you find from the inspection, when you see the patient is loss of spirit, you need to think about what's the clinical indications behind this phenomena. So these spirits, that's something you can see, but the cause, that's something you can't see. That's something you need to think about. And then our treatments, you need going to treat the cause to recover the spirit. So that's the treatments. And the next one, so the indications is very important. You need to remember also from your test. We're going to test a lot about the indications. The second is the facial complexions of different colors and luster. These are different colors, and although when we study, we use one by one, we study one color by one colors. And in the clinics, we actually can see the combination of different colors. So there's one of you asked me previously in the etiology. We got different etiologies such as the wind, the coldness, the dampness. And then in the question, the students asked me that, is it possible to have different etiologies, different pathogens happens together? The answer is yes. That's actually the more common situation. The pathogens happens together. The reason why we study one by one is because we want to make the study easier. We want to explain easier for you to understand. That's why we study one by one. And in the clinics, more common situation is the combination of different colors. When we inspect the colors, we also need to combine with other inspection methods, the other diagnostic methods such as inquiry or pulse diagnosis or tongue inspection in future. That's something we're going to learn in future videos. The reason is because from the inspection, from the facial complexion, sometimes you can't get enough clinical phenomena or clinical information. Also, sometimes you will see some false information. So how do you confirm these information from inspection is true? You need to combine with the other symptoms, such as symptoms from inquiry. The second is we still need to consider the factors that are not related to medical conditions. Which factors or what factors are not related to medical conditions, such as the light. So the light we have introduced at the beginning of this video, different colors of the light may affect the results of inspection. Or sometimes you inspect the patient during the day and night. This is also related to the light. The other more important aspect is emotion. If you inspect the patient in different emotions, such as when they feel depressed or when they feel angry, they feel cross. In this situation, you may see different colors from their facial complexion. For instance, someone feel angry, their facial complexion may be red or brighter. So that's something related to emotion. Also, sometimes the complexion also will change according to the diet. What I mean for diet, especially such as someone drink alcohols. So if they drinks alcohol, you observe, you inspect their facial complexion. Some patient may present redness in the face, so you need to consider these aspects. And also sometimes if they feel hungry, their facial complexion also may change. The last aspect is genetic, such as the patient in the image, the dark color around the eyes. These two dark color around the eyes, these are genetic. How do you know genetic? You can inquire with the patient. Do they have these since they were born? So if the color is from genetic, doesn't consider as medical conditions. So when you see for inspection, we said that the black color related to the kidney. When you see this patient, you can't say that he got a kidney problem because you need to consider the factors not related to medical conditions. So these are different factors that you need to consider. The last aspect of the facial complexion, we are going to introduce the facial complexion related to the 5 elements. This session is not very important, but we want to introduce that you can use in your clinic, in your clinical practice. So as we said before, the colors related to different elements, related to different organs. So the colors are something we can see from the patient. The elements are something we can't see, even the 脏腑 organs, that's something we can't see. So how to use the 5 elements theories to help your clinical diagnosis or to help your treatments. For instance, especially to predict the prognosis. This is sometimes not accurate, but you can use as a reference. For instance, if a patient with a liver problem, such as a patient with liver cancer, so a liver cancer patient, if the facial complexion presents as a white or pale color on the face, or black color on the face, in these two liver cancer patient, one presents with white color, one presents with black color. How do you know their prognosis? Which of the patient is better? So it's the better of two evils. So which one is better? The liver is the bluish or the cyan. Is the liver is the wood color. So the wood color, according to the 5 elements, the metal can control the wood, or the metal can overact in physiological condition, can overact on the wood. The wood can overact on the earth. So if you see a patient with a liver problem, with liver cancer, you see a pale color, a white color. That's the color of the metal. Though you might predict that the prognosis is not that good because the liver got problem, someone still overacting the liver, make the liver worse. So that's not a good sign. And sometimes the patient presents with black color, so the skin looks darker. Is it a good sign or bad sign? That we're going to see from this cycle. The generating. Someone got the wood problem, the liver cancer. The black color is the water. So that's the mother element. The son got problems. The mother going to help the son. So this situation might be better. So that's how to use the 5 elements theories for your clinical diagnosis and for your reference in when you're treating patients. But I have to say that these theories you can use as a reference as a reference, but it's not accurate. So you can't use the facial complexion to predict everything. You cannot tell, or you cannot make sure to the patient that patient present with the white color or pale color is worse. Present with black color is better. So you still need to combine with the other factors, such as the factors we have introduced in the previous videos. Okay, so that's the last session of the facial complexion. The facial complexion is quite important, and from this study, you will see we have introduced a lot of clinical indications, and also when you see from your textbooks, you also will see that there are many clinical indications from the textbooks. So to remember them, sometimes it's a bit difficult for you, especially now when you just started. But what you need to understand at least, or what you need to remember at least, is from your textbook, the first sentence, such as page 20, the bluish or cyan. A bluish color often indicates cold, pain, qi stagnation, and blood stasis. So this sentence, this statement, you have to remember, you have to memorize. Red. A red color often indicates heat or yang floating syndrome. Yellow. A yellow color indicates spleen deficiency or dampness syndrome. White. A white color indicates deficiency, cold, or loss of blood syndrome. The last one, black. Black color often indicates cold, pain, blood stasis, kidney deficiency, or water retention. So these 5 statements is the least that you have to remember. And then for the other indications, you need to understand more better. As you can see from the lecture, we're only going to pick some of the information, and then you're going to go back to your textbooks to see the symptoms, and you try to understand what's the cause. And also from the textbooks, they have help you to explain some of the symptoms. The next session, we're going to talk about the inspection of body build or the physical body. This session is much easier than the facial complexion because for the body builds, we only separate them into weak, the fat or thin or normal. That's all what we said. What we're going to talk about. But also in the meantime, because this body build sometimes doesn't help a lot in the clinical situation. So for this inspection, we only need to have a general understanding what's normal, what's abnormal. Because if we see the physical body, you can see the 脏腑 organs, the condition, the essence, the qi. In other words, actually we can see the nutrition. In modern words, the nutrition of the body. So a normal body build, not too thin, not too fat, and with smooth movements. The first one is the strong or weak physical build. The strong or weak physical build, the strong one refer to like the firm muscles, strong bones, and full of energy, good appetite. These phenomena can indicate the person in this situation is not a patient. The person have abundance of qi and blood. So from the physical body, you can see the internal organs is strong. So when you see the physical bodies, you not only see the muscles. Especially here, you see sometimes people, they drink a lot and they have very good muscles, but you also need to see the lusters. the skin colors, the complexions, that's the combination to see the internal organs problem. And this kind of the reason why we need to study this observation of the physical body, it can help you to have a general idea of the 脏腑 organs, and also can help you to predict that the prognosis is easy to recover or difficult to recover. So a patient with a strong physical body, they might recover better, but prognosis may be better. A weak physical build includes dry, lustrous skin, muscle wasting, small bones, narrow thoracic cage, listlessness, and poor appetite. So as you can see, when you compare with this two images to the previous one, you will see that if a patient presents or a person presents with this situation, you can see their 脏腑 organs or the axons and blood, qi and blood in these persons are not good. So they might have poor appetite, poor prognosis. So these are the inspection of physical build. Due to the fact that the physical build also related to the internal organs, the muscles, the blood, the bones, such as the facial complexion, the pulse is related to the heart, the facial complexion, so the skin is related to the lung, the muscles is related to the skin, the bones is related to the kidney, the ligament is related to the liver. So from this physical build, we can see the internal organs. For instance, someone the movement is not that good. The ligament doesn't move well. The joints doesn't move well. Though you can see that the liver condition is not good. The liver function, or like these two images, these two patients, the physical body very skinny, and this we can indicate that the patient got very bad appetite because they don't have any muscles. They are losing muscles. The muscles is related to the spleen. So that's how to observe from the physical body to predict or to understand the internal organs. The second one is the body shape. In other words, is obesity or skinny. So in this situation, we try to see for this one is actually more practical because we use the body mass index. This index BMI is global recognized. No matter Chinese medicine or Western medicine, we all use BMI as a reference. So BMI, the formula is the patient's weight divided with their height square. If the BMI above 25 or for female 24 is considered as obesity, and if below 20 or 19, it's too skinny. So that's the BMI. For this session, to understand the obese or skinny of the patient, we actually try to understand to predict the general condition of these types of patient. Patient with obese or obese patient, they more likely to have phlegm, or they're more likely to have dampness, and also they're more likely to have qi deficiency. Why we say so? That's because from the clinical situation or the phenomena around these patients, you can see the obese patient or the obese people, they're more likely to feel tired. They walk for a while, they feel tired. Feel tired. What's the indication of feeling tired in our theories? Tiredness, fatigue, that's qi deficiency. Right? And then also for this kind of patient, this kind of people, obese, if they always, or they more likely to prefer eat to prefer eating like greasy food or sweet. They don't want to move, and this situation will affect the spleen function, can result in the accumulation of phlegm and dampness. That's why in these kinds of patients, in general, they will have qi deficiency, or will have more phlegm or more dampness. A patient, a person with skinny body build, they might have poor appetite. Why they are skinny? That's because their digestive system doesn't function well, and this can result in the spleen and stomach deficiency. So that's how we understand from the physical shape to understand the internal the internal condition of the organs. And also for skinny person, they're more likely to have internal fire. And also from yin and yang, this kind of person also the skinny, this kind of person also yin deficiency. The yin deficiency also will result in qi deficiency. So that's in general, it's not in good health. The next one, we're going to talk about constitutional types. This is very similar to the body constitution. We talk about yin person, yang person, and yin-yang balanced person in constitution. So you can refer back to the basic theories, body constitution. These kinds of in 黄帝内经, it categorizes three types of body constitution: 阴脏 body constitution, 阳脏 阴脏 body constitution, 阳脏 body constitution, and yin-yang balance. So you also can say 阴脏 person, 阳脏 person, yin-yang balance person. To understand these three types, it can help us to predict or to understand the development of the disease. So, for instance, in our clinics, a person caught flu, and then this person, if the person come to see you when they caught flu at the first day or the second day, how do you know how the patient the disease of the flu going to develop? The patient going to have a sore throat, or the patient going to be sleepy, and also how is it easy to recover or is not that easy to recover. That's all what you need to understand is what type of person from the body constitution. The physical body of yin-zang person. The person is shorter, fat, a round head, muscular neck, a broader shoulder, and a big belly. The Yang-Zhang person, tall, thin, a long head, a thin neck, narrow shoulder, and a sunken belly. Sometimes you will confuse why the fat and thin. When we compare with the fat and thin in terms of the shape, the fat should be yang, the thin is yin because it's smaller. Okay, and the muscular and thin neck, the muscular also yang, the thin is yin. Why sometimes you will confuse, but why the thin neck is yang zang? The reason is because the yin and yang here, the yin zang and yang zang, is not according to the body shape. is actually the comparison of the yin and yang in individual body. Yin Zhang person is actually talk about the person with excess yin qi but less yang qi in the body. So this kind of patient, for instance, the balance is here. The patient will have excess yin, so yin is more, yang is less. So that's the situation in this kind of person. In this kind of person, because they got extra in here, so this patient will present with coldness, pale, coldness, dampness. So they are more likely to present with cold and dampness. So the pathogen goes through this body. It's more likely to develop into a cold situation, or cold condition, or dampness. This pathogen, the pathogenic qi, go to the body to a yang zhang person. It's more likely to change to the heat or dry. Yin-yang balance, it can be changed into either way. So the yin-yang balance person is the most healthy person. This situation, it's very similar to the situation we described before. A glass of water, 2 glasses of water, one is the hot water, one is the cold water. Okay, so one is cold, one is hot. When the pathogen goes to the cold water, it becomes cold water. When it becomes the cold water, when the pathogen goes to the hot water, it becomes the hot water, warm water, right? There's a third glass of water, room temperature water. If you put this room temperature water to the cold water, this room temperature becomes cold. The same room temperature water to the hot water becomes warm, right? So now you imagine the room temperature water of this room temperature water is the pathogen, the pathogenic qi. The cold water, this one, is the yin zhang person. The hot water is the yang zhang person. This will make it much easier for you to understand why the same pathogen will change to coldness or dampness, or change to heat or dryness. That's because of the body type. Their body types yin zhang, yang zhang, and yin yang balance. Okay, so that's all the observation of the physical build. In the next video, we are going to talk about the posture and body movements. Thank you for your attention.